Hello everyone, this is Stan and welcome back to Boston Treasure Hunters. What I have here is 2 tubes of Canadian large cents. I didn't go through these in my other video as I really didn't feel there was much here to go through and didn't think there'd be anything here. However, one subscriber mentioned that he'd like me to go through them, so that's exactly what I'm going to do with this here. Not sure if this is going to be a long video or a short video, or if I'll even ever post it, but we're going to crack these open, take a look, I'm going to sort them by date, show you what we have. Okay, so what I'm using here is obviously Coins and Canada, which has great descriptions of most of what I'm looking for here. And what I'm going to be doing is going through all of the ones from about here all the way up. I'm going to start, of course, with the oldest ones, which I do have a couple, 1859s. I'll show you in just a second. And here is all of the different eras and varieties that they have that I get to look for. Some have pictures, some don't, so we'll have to see what we find. Okay, here are all the coins all laid out. Let's take a quick look, see what we have here. Hopefully these come up nice and clear. That is, we have three 1859s, followed by 1892, 1896. There was two of those, and two 1899s. Then down over here, we have one 1901, two 1902s, followed by 1906, 1907, 1908, and then over here, two 1910s. Moving down to the last column, way over here, we have two 1911s, three 1912s, two 1913s, a 1914, no 1915s. We had five 1916s, three 1917s, five 1918s, two 1919s, and four 1920s. Now, as you can see, these are all in circulating condition. Some are damaged, whatever. But I'm still going to go through the coins of Canada, take a look, see what they have for errors and varieties, and let you know what we find, if anything. Okay, so here we are on Coins of Canada, and this is going to go through all of the errors and varieties that have been found on the 1858, which we don't have any, so I just kind of excluded it out, and all the 1859s, and there are a slew of them. I've already gone through the three coins that I have. I believe I have two of these, and I believe I might have one of these. The rest of these, unfortunately, I don't have. And if you look at the prices on the low 9, really not worth a lot of money unless they're in high grades, which none of mine are. And same thing with the narrow 9. So let me show you those real quickly. Okay, so here is what I believe is the 1859 regular 9. I'm going to show you the other two in just a second. Okay, on this one here, as you can see right here, this is a much more narrow 9. The top part here is a lot more elongated than the other one. And on the third one, same thing. You can see right here, this is much more elongated. I'll show you the other one real quickly as well. Let me just move this out of the way, get this back. And you can clearly see how this is much wider than the other two there. So we do have two minor errors, but still fun. Let's keep going. Okay, the next group we're going to be looking at here is going to be 1892 to 1901. As that's the next section I have, because I don't have any in the 60s, 70s, or 80s. So I'm going to take a look at these real quickly, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just spent about 10 minutes looking at all of these coins here from 1892 as far as the errors they're talking about. And if you look right in here, it's really about this part of the mouth and about the chin. And this is obverse number 2. Then as you scroll down, you have obverse number 3. And as you can see, this is a little bit bigger of a doubling on the chin, I want to call it. And this is more pronounced. If you look at the fourth one here, there's definitely not really much a doubling, I want to call it, and there's really not much of pronounced there in the mouth. Let me show which one I have, because I only have one of these. As you can see, the example I have here is heavily circulated, and I don't see anything in here or down in here, so I'm just going to assume this is a regular 1892 Canadian 1 cent piece. Okay, for the 1896, which is the next year that I have, they have what's called a FAR 6. I've already taken a look. Let me show you what I found. Here is the better example of it. I don't see any additional spacing. Maybe if somebody else does, you can definitely let me know. Let me show you the other one real quickly as well. Just so you can see both. This one here is in really rough shape, but I don't see any additional spacing on either one of these here, so I think we just have two normal 1896. Okay, next up is the 1899, which there's two different types of doubling. Show you those real quickly here. The first one here, if you look really closely, it looks like it's going more, I'd say, southerly down here, and that's doubling number one. Then we have down here, and this one here seems to be going, I would say, more easterly. We'll take a quick look. I have a couple of those to look at. Be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I have both of them on the under the scope right now. I did take a close look at these here. I didn't see any doubling at all. And as you can tell, the top one there is heavily damaged. The bottom one is definitely in better shape. So we're going to move on to the next year. Next one up is 1901, which there were no known major errors or varieties, but what they do have on here, which is kind of cool, is other dies and varieties. Did look, I didn't see any die cracking, and I did check for the nearly closed 9. Didn't have that either. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to 1902. The next coin up was 1908, and it has a large small legend, and let me show you this real quickly. This is actually really fascinating. On here you can see it actually has the coin and it has everything numbered on how they did this. It's really interesting. And you can even zoom in just a little bit closer to really get a good look at it. And you can actually see on the coin itself where the doubling is as well. I do have one 1908. I did take a look. Unfortunately, I don't have it, but I still wanted to show that to you. Okay, we're already up to 1913, and I bring you in for this one here as it's a rotated die, 45 degrees, 1913. It's not under the major errors and varieties, but I thought this is significant enough to bring up. And this coin here, of course, shows it to you right there. I do have two 1913s. I did already look. Unfortunately, I didn't have it, but still a really cool variety to look for. Okay, looking at the 1916s right now, and no major errors or varieties, but they do have one that on the minor side that I found quite interesting. And when I looked at it, it's 1916, and it's called the regular and the far. It's a very, very, very small separation, which I looked at mine and I cannot tell if I have that or not. If anybody that really studies Canadian coins can give me a better idea on how to look for this, that would be great. Well, the next one we have up here is 1919. There was some minor varieties that I kind of caught my eye that I had to look for. There was no major ones, but down here, there's a die crack in the first year, George. But down here is the one I'm looking at, the dot above the last 9 of the date. And if you look right there, you'll see it. To me, this looks more like a die crack where some of it kind of filled in, I would say. Not so much a dot, but definitely an interesting variety to look for, in my opinion. Unfortunately, I don't have any. Let's look at 1920s and see what we come up with. Okay, so we're up to 1920, and they have the large and the small, which when I first looked at this, I thought it meant like, small type, large type of print, not actually meaning the coin. This is the large cent, and of course, down here you have the small cent. So I did take a closer look to see what type of errors and varieties were on there. And on the miscellaneous, they do have a doubling on the 19 of 1920. I have a couple of them. I did take a look. I didn't find any. So unfortunately, we just have the two narrow 9s that we found in this hunt. And there they all are, all over the place. I don't know where the two narrow 9s are. I imagine they're over there somewhere. I'll separate them out. I'll put them into cards. I'll be right back. Okay, and there they are, all nice and cleaned up. And I did put these into flips, not cards. I don't know why I said that. But this was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments or saw something that I missed or another resource that I could use, please leave it in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. That's all I got for this time. Until next time, happy hunting.